Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile, and today we are going to talk about the ADV-Sound M5-12D. I want to thank Advanced Sound for sending these out for a review. I do greatly appreciate it. Advanced Sound, you rock. Alright, so the ADV M5-12D. It is a all BA IEM, has 12 BAs per side, and it is 9 ohms of impedance, 109 decibels of sensitivity, a frequency response of 10 hertz to 40 kilohertz. Looks like this. Has a little bit of ADV branding. Whoops, turn it around the other way there. It's got a white faceplate with clear. Says ADV down there by the cable input. It's a little bit on the chunky side. You can see all the innards there. That's really cool. If you take the tip off, you can see that it has quite the nozzle on it with angles. I find that it actually is very well built as far as quality of the build of the shell, and then also the angles and just the design of everything on it is very well done. And I have no problems whatsoever with them fitting in my ears. The angle may be a little bit aggressive for some. Oops, helps, there we go. But I don't have any issues with comfort. I can wear these for hours on end, upwards of 6 to 8 hours at a time without any fatigue. And I find that the angle just fits right into my ear hole, and that the size of the nozzle is just the right size to fit into my ear hole. But if you have smaller ears, like my wife has smaller ears, these do not fit her very well at all. Now, ADV does make these in a custom design that you can send in your ear measurements, and they will, obviously build the shell to your ear specs, or ear specs, your ear measurements, and so they might fit you a little bit better that way. But I find them to be very nicely built. I have no problems whatsoever with the design of them or the comfort of them. I did replace the stock cable. I found that the stock cable was just fine. It is the normal everyday cable that comes with all ADV IEMs, and I upgraded it to the ADV SPC Litz cable. This cable does cost $160 on their website, but I just thought that it matched the design of the M5-12D better. Also, I do find that I get a little bit of sonic improvements with this cable. I find that it's a little bit more transparent, a little bit more clean, and that the treble is a little more controlled with the SPC Litz cable. It would be a nice touch if ADV would offer that cable with this IEM, considering the price tag of the IEM already comes in at $1,300. I find that this cable is very well built, has 3.5 millimeter connector, nice little metal slider, and it's just nicely built. I just really like it. The ear hooks are nice and well controlled, and I thought it was a nice touch to upgrade it. Overall, I find that the isolation and separation of outside noises is very good. It comes in probably around 75% of outside noises is blocked. So when you do have them in your ears and someone's trying to talk to you, you do have to pop them out, pause your music, that type of thing. Also, I did a test where my wife was watching a movie which was fairly loud on the television out in the living room, and I was sitting there listening to music. And if I paused the music, it was very dull to hear the TV or to hear her talking. And when music was playing, even at the lower levels that I listened at, I couldn't hear the TV at all. So it does a very good job of isolating outside noises. And I don't think that you would have any problems using these in an office setting. How do they sound? Now, IEMs are a little bit unique for me. I haven't really found one that has met like my perfect sound signature until I met the M5-12D. Now, when ADV first asked me if I wanted to review these, I was like, yeah, I would love to. They've been on my radar, but in the back of my head, I was thinking that they were more analytical, a little bit more cold sounding, and that they probably wouldn't be the sound signature for me. But I was I was surprised. These actually do fit me perfectly as far as what I'm looking for in a sound signature. The bass is very nice and linear. It does have a slight little increase in the sub bass, which gives just a little bit of a kiss of musicality to it. And overall, the bass is focused on details and on transparency and just overall the minute effects and sounds that you get out of the bass versus being bombastic and thumpy and impactful. These do get down and give you a rumble in the sub bass. They will give you a nice impact in the mid bass and upper bass regions, but only when it's called upon in the song. So they don't exaggerate the bass at all. They are very well controlled, very detailed, very clean, and you get every single little nuance and sound and effect that is in the bass without it being enhanced or boosted, just the way I like it. And then in the mids are the same way. They're a little bit on the elevated side, just enough to push them forward so you get some clarity in there, but they are not overly done. They are not super far forward. They're not coming at you shouting at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but they are very well controlled, extremely clean and detailed. You can pick out every single little note and every little detail that is in the mids. I truly love it. And then on top of that, they have just enough of a kiss of musicality, so they don't come across as cold and brittle, but they have this nice approach of sounding natural. And being an all BA, that's very, very unique. You don't get a whole lot of BA setups that sound natural, but the tone and timbre of these is just perfect. And in my opinion, they are very natural sounding. And I was really pleasantly surprised at the approach that the M5-12D takes, because it does enough to be critical listening, but also enough to be an everyday listening IEM, especially in the mids. And then in the treble is really nicely extended. You have very good air in there. You have nice sparkle, nice energy, but it's not overblown. It's not too accentuated, and it doesn't come across in a harsh way in any way. It's very laid back, but at the same time, it feels like it's just enough, and it has that balance between giving you all that you need in the treble and that you wish for in the treble, but not too much to be overpowering and overbearing. And for someone who loves treble and is somewhat of a treble head, these fit me great in that region. I love the treble on the M5-12D. Soundstage wise is actually above average. I was really surprised at how wide these come across and how good they are in depth and layering and height. They have a very nice, engaging, and immersive soundstage that has very precise, spot on placement, and you can really pick apart each instrument, and it's just a glorious sounding soundstage where everything is portrayed. You can hear all of the instruments in an orchestra all playing together cohesively, and it's just a fun sounding soundstage that at the same time is pleasing and enjoyable, but also analytical. The ADV M5-12D has won me over. I truly love them. At $1,300, price is a little bit steep, but I do really, really, really like these. How do they compare to some other items that I have? Well, I have the Meze Rai Penta. Now, the Meze Rai Penta comes in at just below around the price tag of the M5-12D, and I find that the Meze Rai Penta is a very good complement to the M5-12D. The Rai Penta is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more chill, has a little bit more thickness to it, and is just a little bit more robust sounding, but at the same time, it is a very detailed IEM at the same time. And the Rai Penta is the IEM that I just want to sit back, chill, and just drink my soda or my tea or whatever is your choice of drink, and you just relax. Whereas the M5-12D would be the one where, hey, I want have my energy drink, and I want to sit down and criticize the music and actually dig into it and learn all the details, but at the same time, I don't want them to be ear piercing. I want to be able to enjoy it while I'm being critical. The Little brother to the M5-12D is the M5-1D, and this is an all beryllium driver. And the beryllium driver does add a little bit of robustness to it and a little bit of thickness to everything, but it does lack in resolution and in details compared to the M5-12D. It does a lot of things similar as far as the soundstage, the depth, and the layering, but it does have more forward mids. M5-1D is a very fun sounding IEM and a very pleasing IEM, but it does not do the critical listening and the more analytical stuff that the M5-12D does. Also, one that's very similar in price tag, and I haven't done the review on it yet, is the Hero from Empire Ears. Now, the Hero is, I don't want to spoil the review of the Hero, but the Hero does a lot of things differently than the ADV M5-12D, but the biggest thing will be the bass and also the presentation, especially in the treble. And I find that the M5-12D is very competent when compared to the Hero. Also, we do have the Odom here in-house from Empire Ears, and the Odom is $3,400. Does a whole lot of things differently, but also at the same time, just like the Hero, I find that the M5-12D is very competent and very competitive to the Odom. How does the M5-12D compare, or I'm sorry, not compare, play with other gear? Well, my favorite setup was actually using the Nextdrive Spectra X, the Nextdrive Spectra X with my Samsung Note 10 Plus. I found that the Note 10 Plus and the Spectra X was a very good matchup along with the M5-12D, very enjoyable, had a nice lushness to it, and just a very details flying around everywhere, and I could really pick apart music but still enjoy them at the same time. It did play very well with my Sony Walkman NWA105 and also my Pioneer XDP30R. It played very well with both of those DAPs, no problems whatsoever. Pioneer, I did have to turn it down onto low gain just to remove the hiss that it was producing on the M5-12D, as there was a little bit of sensitivity. And speaking of sensitivity, some other devices, if you do have that problem, just go ahead and get yourself an IFI IEMatch. That would work also very well, especially on desktop setups. And speaking of desktop setups, I did use it on my Mytek Liberty and on the Socus DAC 1421. Both of them played it very well, very easily. Did have to use the IEMatch on it to kind of remove that background hiss that was coming from the output impedance. But other than that, I had no problems whatsoever powering the ADV M5-12D, and it was very pleasurable on all devices. It did not have anything that was like, ugh, why, ugh, no. I didn't have any of those moments. I found that it was very pleasurable on everything that I used here in the house. So the ADV M5-12D, it truly impressed me, and it is the IEM that has the sound signature that just meets up with my preferences. And it met up so much so that I'm going to purchase these. And I really do enjoy these a whole lot. I highly recommend them if you can afford them. Give them a listen. That is the most natural sounding BA IEM I've ever heard. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen is a notification and subscription links. If you haven't already, please check those off. And then check out the links down below for information how you can contact the channel, how you can follow the channel, how you can support the channel. Also for links to all the information, reviews, and gear that was listed today in the review. Check out all the links. Thank you for watching. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile, and I will catch you on the next video.